Hi everyone, let's go over yesterday's exit ticket. So the first question says, if there are 3 basketballs for every 7 students at Bayside Middle School, then how many students are there if the storeroom has 63 basketballs? So remember, we're going to use 2 different colors. So I'm going to use one color for basketballs. So I'm going to write a B for basketballs. And then I'm going to use pink for students. So I'm just going to put an S for students. So I'm going to have 2 fractions, and I'm going to start filling these numbers in. So I see it says 7 students, and what went with that was the 3 basketballs. So I'm going to put that in blue, and I'm going to keep reading, and it says how many students, so I don't know that, so now we know that we're going to put an X to hold that place value. If there are 63 basketballs, so I'm going to put 63 there. So now I just have to solve it. So I remember that I multiply the numbers that are diagonal, and I'm going to divide by what's left over. So I come to my calculator and I type in 63 times 7. Move that over a little bit. I get 441, and then I'm going to come to the next line, hit answer, divided by 3, and the answer is 147 students. So there's my answer. Question number 2. A rainstorm produced a rainfall of 2 inches per hour. How many hours would it take to get rainfall amount of 8 inches? So I know one of my measurements is 2 inches, and the other one says per hour. Anytime it says per hour, that means 1. This is your unit rate. So per hour means 1 hour. So I'm going to circle that and put it in green. So that's going to be my hour. And the other one is my inches. I'll put that in light purple. So it says 2 inches here, so I'm going to put that in purple. So 2 inches per hour. So I know that means 1 hour, so I put a 1 here. And I keep reading, and it says how many hours, so that's my unknown, would it take to get a rainfall amount of 8 inches. So I put, I want that to be purple, 8 inches. So I want all of my colors lined up. So that's good. So I know I've set this up correctly. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and solve it. So I multiply the diagonals. So 8 times 1 is 8. And then I'm going to divide by what's left over. 8 divided by 2, I know is 4. All right, the last one. The size of a soccer field is 80 yards long. Which proportion would I use if I need to know how long the field is in meters? And then it goes on to tell me 1 yard is equal to 0.91 meters. So I'm going to start off with the blue color, and I'm going to use that for my yards. So I'm going to put yards. And then my other measurement is meters. So I'm going to use the pink again for that for meters. So I know this is meters. So I know that the soccer field is 80 yards long. So 80 yards goes here. And do I know how many meters the soccer field is? It says which proportion would I use if I need to know how long the field is in meters. So I don't know that. So that's where I'm going to put my unknown. I don't know what that is. Over here, if I keep reading, it says 1 yard is equal to 0.91 meters. So I'm going to match that up. 0.91 meters is equal to 1 yard. So I match that up with yards. So now I just go ahead and solve it. I multiply my diagonals and then divide by what's left over. So I'm going to do this, and that's how I'm going to determine which one of these is the correct answer. So I come over to my calculator. I'm going to clear this out. I type in 80 times 0.91, and that's what I get. So I come to my next line. I hit answer, and it brings that number down for me. Divided by 1, which I should know that that's just the same number. So I'm looking for whichever one of these proportions gives me 72.8. So if I come to the first one, I'm going to type that in. So I know I'm going to multiply my diagonals, which is 80 times 0.91, which really is what I just did. And then I'm going to divide by 1. So honestly, I don't need to go any further. that should be my right answer because it's multiplying the same numbers together. So if you look at this answer choice, let's check and see this one right here. I don't want to put a check there, so I'm just going to put a little squiggle. So in this one, in order to figure this out, the diagonal is going to be 80 times 1. So let's come over here and we're going to type in 80 times 1, which is just 80. And then we divide by what's left over, which is 0.91. So let me divide by 0.91. And I do not get the same number. 72.8 is not equal to that. So this wouldn't be right. And then I would go ahead and check the other two and see which ones work and which ones do not work. The problem with this one right here is you see where that says 80 and this says 0.8. It doesn't even have the correct numbers, so that's not correct. All right. So that's the end of Exit Ticket Review. If you have any questions still, you can message me or come up and ask me the questions. Thank you.